And Pharaoh was going crazy. He was looking for anybody that could interpret this dream, and all of a sudden that baker that Joseph had met in jail interpreted the baker's dream and was able to get him out, because Joseph wasn't selfish and wasn't thinking about himself, but he really cared about the other person. That baker remembered Joseph. And he's like, hey Pharaoh, you know what? I know this guy. I met him back in prison. Like, he can interpret dreams. Like, you should really get a hold of him. So they went and got Joseph. And Joseph, he said, yeah, like, I know exactly what that dream means. Joseph wasn't arrogant. He wasn't boastful about anything. He just said, yes, it means for the first 7 years, you're going to have a harvest, like a plentiful harvest. Everything's going to go great for you. And you're going to have a huge stockpile, bigger than you've ever had in your life. For the second 7 years, there's going to be the worst famine that's ever come across the land. The worst famine that you have ever seen. And then Pharaoh started freaking out. And then all of a sudden, Joseph was just like, your best bet is to take it all, save it up, and then during the years, slowly divide it out among everybody who doesn't have it. And all of a sudden, Joseph wasn't being boastful. He wasn't like, oh yeah, I have all the solutions. He was just offering up a simple suggestion. He was nice and calm, knowing he was a prisoner, still in jail, not knowing if his life was going to end because of telling Pharaoh some bad news. Pharaoh could have just been like, you know what? I don't like that. I don't like that interpretation of the dream. Let's kill him off. Joseph was just humble, and because of that, Pharaoh was like, you know what? No one was able to interpret this dream. No one was able to give such sound, wise advice. I'm gonna make Joseph second in command over everything. So all of a sudden, Pharaoh comes up and he takes his ring off. He takes his ring of power off, and everybody knows what that ring is. If Pharaoh gave that ring to somebody, they knew that they had Pharaoh's permission to do pretty much whatever they wanted. Put it on Joseph's hand, and Joseph was made second in command over everything. He wasn't a slave to Potiphar anymore, but now he was over Potiphar. He was over Potiphar's wife because he respected Potiphar, and he listened to his master at the time. Going into step 5, the 5th guideline for a dreamer is you have to see. See everything from God's perspective. You see, Joseph didn't really know exactly what was going on. I mean, if you guys were kidnapped, thrown, like if you guys went off to some far-off land, like you guys were on a mission trip somewhere, just checking up on this orphanage that you guys normally go to, and all of a sudden you got kidnapped and thrown in prison. Would your first thought be like, oh yeah, this right here, I'm thrown in prison now so I can be president in 10 years? No, that's not your first thought that goes through your mind. And it wasn't Joseph's first thought when he went through his mind, but when he looks back at it, he was like, okay, I see what's going on here. You see, now that Joseph was second in command, and his whole entire family lived in Egypt, he was able to provide for his family. You see, his brothers, Joseph, why don't you come on back up here real quick? Joseph, you're all high and mighty now. You got chest stuck out, got sucked in, head held high. You're all high and mighty. Got the fancy gold necklace that Pharaoh gave him.
That was a ring.
He also gave him a gold necklace, and you're not wearing a ring, so.
Or am I?
Are you wearing a ring? I didn't think so. And then, I want Jono to come back up here. So Jono, representing the 10 brothers that Joseph knows about right now, all of a sudden John's like, you know what, hey, our family's in some really bad trouble. We don't have any food. And then immediately Joseph recognized him, but Reuben didn't recognize Joseph. And Joseph was like, well, how many do you guys have? And Reuben's like, well, there's my father and my mother and my 10 brothers. And Joseph's like, wait a second. You don't still have 10 brothers because I was your 10th brother. So what's going on here? And all of a sudden he's like, bring back your youngest brother with me. And then he's like, no, we can't. Like, my dad's going to freak out because my other youngest son died and this new son got replaced him. And we can't. My father will have a heart attack. He'll die. And he said, no, you're not getting anything until you bring back your youngest brother. So John, Reuben, goes back, gets everybody. They all come back in here. You pick somebody older than you to be your younger brother. Okay. So, brings up his youngest brother, and Joseph's like, what's this? This is my dad's new favorite, and all of a sudden, but Joseph wasn't mad. Joseph, nice bit. Joseph, he's like, where have you guys been? Like, I'm Joseph, your brother, the one you sold into slavery, and everyone started freaking out, and then so they went back and they got their dad, they brought everybody, and their whole entire family was reunited. And because Joseph was second in command, he was able to take in, nice family. Joseph, since he was second in command, he was able to take in everybody. He was able to say, hey, you know what? Like, come on, Dad, like, I'm still alive, Dad, like, we can be reunited. You know what, brothers, I forgive you for everything. I want you to come in. Like, I'm second in command over all of Egypt right now. The only one over me is Pharaoh. I have permission to let you guys come in. You guys can come in. You guys can drink from the golden cups. You guys can have the finest of the foods, the finest of the wines. You guys can have the best of everything. So the fifth guideline, you guys can go ahead and sit down now. Thanks. Good job. Everybody give them a round of applause for being such a great help. Fifth guideline for dreamers is to see everything from God's perspective. You got to trust in God's ultimate wisdom. Because God causes all things to work for your good as you remain faithful to His calling and His purpose for your life. See, Joseph didn't get upset. He didn't get discouraged. He didn't allow himself to be full of sorrow. But he said, you know what, God? You gave me a dream. I'm going to walk out with integrity. I'm not gonna make some bad decisions. You know what, God? In the end, he was able to say, wow, look at this. I went through all those hard times so I could save my family. Like, if I didn't go through a little pain, my whole entire family's name would have been completely erased and everybody would have died. No one would have had anything. So I'll talk to you guys about dreams tonight. Because I want everybody's head bowed, everybody's eyes closed. I want you guys to think about a time when God spoke something to you. If He's never spoke anything to you, that's completely fine. But I want you guys to think about a time when God spoke something to you. And what are you doing with that? For me, I know God called me into ministry, and for a really long time, I ran away from it. I ran away from it saying, you know what, God, I can't do this. This is getting really hard. You guys can open your eyes for a second and look up at me. Things were getting really hard. I went through a horrible time with my pastor back home. I really made some stupid decisions. I ran from God. I ended up traveling 3,000 miles to come to Florida just so I could get away from it all. And I'm like, you know what, God, like, I really don't know why. Like, I really don't know what all this is. Like, I don't know what I'm going through. Like, what is the purpose? What's the point of all this? And I look at my life where I'm at now. And God was able to restore the relationship with my pastor back home. He brought me into a position where He gave me a new mentor. He gave me new friends that were going to say, hey, you know what, we don't care about any of the crap in your life. We don't care about any of the bullcrap nonsense that you may be going through, or that we don't care about your bad attitude, because we're going to work with you. God gave me a beautiful fiance sitting right back there. We're getting married in 46 days. We're getting married in 46 days. What? Yeah, you can come to my wedding. Yeah. You see, like, I would have never thought that at 21 I would be getting married, because 3 years ago I was like, I'm never getting married. I'm going to wait until I'm like 35. I don't want to have a family. I don't want to have a wife. But God brought me through so much. And I know, and I'm in Mission, Florida right now, and I'm getting ready to graduate from my second year of Mission, Florida, and I'm getting ready to go out and embark on my own journey, and God's opening so many doors for me. And I'm I'm just like, you know what, God, thank you. Because before, I had no doors. Every single door had slammed shut tight right in my face. And I was like, I give up. I give up, God. But looking back on that whole picture, if God hadn't have shut every single door in my face, if I hadn't gone through some really low valleys, through some really hard times, I would have never got on a plane, flew 3,000 miles to Florida. I would have never met my beautiful fiance. I would have never been getting married. I would have never done anything. I would have never been able to meet you guys, meet some great friends. Nothing. God has something crazy, incredible for my life. And I know God has something even more crazy, incredible for every single one of you guys. I know a lot of the older generations, they look at us and they say, you know what, they're a hopeless generation. They don't care about school. All they care about is drinking and partying. They don't care about anything else. They don't respect their elders. They don't want to get a job. They want life handed to them. They're worth nothing. But the thing that's going to change that, the thing that's going to make you prove them wrong is for you to make a choice. It's for you to make a choice to walk with integrity. For you to say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to go out on Friday night. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to party. You know what? You guys talking about how many times you guys have had sex? That's not cool. You guys want to stand out, be different. How about try being a virgin all the way through high school and try being a virgin and saying, you know what? I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm not going to go around and sleep with every single person. I'm not going to make it harder for my future husband or my future wife. I'm going to respect my future husband. I'm going to respect my future wife that God has for me by not doing that. I'm not going to go out and make stupid decisions and throw my life away and fail high school because I kept getting drunk on it every weekend. Now, again, with every head bowed, every eye closed, first question I want to ask tonight, has anybody in here never accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? If you haven't and you would like to, I want you guys to raise your hand right now. It's awesome. So, now that I know that every single one of you guys have accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I want you to ask Him, God, what's your plan for my life? God, what do you have planned out for my life? And I want you to pray this prayer, but I don't want you to pray this prayer lightly. I want you to take it seriously, and I want you to tell God that you're going to do anything for Him, whatever it takes. If it means being made fun of at school, if it means losing every single one of your friends, then so be it. What good is a friend if they're going to make fun of you for making the right choices? So God, I thank you so much for every single person in this room. I pray that you speak to every single one of us and show us what your plan is for our life. God, I pray that you never leave our sides. God, I pray that every single time we think it's getting hard, that we can look up and we can see your point of view. We can look at it and see it from your perspective when life just seems to be going wrong. God, I pray that you give us the strength to make the right decisions. And God, ultimately, I pray that we can have such a childlike faith and just accept what you're giving us. That when you give us this dream, when you give us this passion, I pray that we can accept it and we can run with it. God, never letting it get to our heads, never letting us think that it's by our own will that we're doing this, God, but always remembering that it's you who gave it to us and that it's you who deserve all the glory and all the honor for everything that we're doing. God, I thank you so much for this night, and I praise you.